What's up, my YouTube family? Sergeant Graybeard with another Division 2 video. Today is Friday, March 12th, and as always, I hope this message finds you healthy and safe. In today's video, my friends, I'm going to be continuing the series where I show you some of my favorite builds to currently run in the game. This build here I use for legendary content in the summit, and with this thing, you are a complete and total bullet sponge. Now, if you happen to be new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Secondly, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to be a part of our gaming family. And if you enjoyed this or found it helpful at all, take a quick second and hit that like button. It really does help us out. So as I mentioned at the beginning of all of my build videos, I want to remind you that this is just a template. This is how I like running the thing. You may want to run it differently. And remember, the most important thing is to make a build your own. Now, as always, I'm starting this off by showing you a little bit of gameplay, then we're going to get into the build breakdown, followed by a little more footage, and at that point, I'll also go over a few tips for new and returning players. You can see here that I'm running Legendary difficulty in the summit. I'm at floor 94. I've got a heavy right in front of me, lighting me up, and if you look at my shield health, this thing is barely budging. This happens to be my favorite way to run legendary content on my own because there is a big jump in NPC difficulty from heroic to legendary, and with this build you have really high survivability. And once again, keep in mind that you may want your build to have a little more weapon damage or a little more armor, so again, the most important thing to do is try out different variations and really create something that suits your gameplay. Now on to the build itself, starting off with the specialization. I'm running Technician for a few reasons. First of all, you get 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics, and it also gives you that extra skill tier. One quick reminder for the new players out there is make sure, regardless of what specialization you pick, you go to your weapon tree and you choose the weapon you have equipped so you get that 15% weapon damage bonus. Now, since I'm using the Bulwark Shield with this build, that means my sidearm is going to be my primary weapon, and I'm running with a Liberty pistol because the talent Liberty or Death. You can see here that hits grant 2% weapon damage, stacks up to 30 times, headshots consume all stacks, repairing your shield for 3% per stack. Now, if you don't have the Liberty handgun, that's fine. I recommend using a D50 if you have one, or really any other handgun will work, and I also recommend using the talent Close and Personal. You can see here that with that talent, killing a target within 7 meters grants 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds, and pretty much the way this build is designed, any target you take out, you're usually within 7 meters of. Now moving on to the build itself, my friends, you can see here I'm running 4 Foundry Bulwark, 1 Douglas and Harding, and the Memento backpack. Most of you know this by now, but the Foundry set can give you so much survivability. That's because of the gear set bonuses. 2-piece gives you 10% armor, 3-piece gives you 1% armor regen and 50% shield health, and 4-piece is makeshift repairs. Whenever you or your shield take damage, 20% of that amount is repaired to both over 15 seconds. Now, one thing I want to point out as we move on is one thing I'm doing in this build is I am stacking my protection from elites. These mods, in my opinion, are some of the most effective ones to have equipped for legendary difficulty because it really does help protect you against those heavies and any elite NPCs. Now moving on to the body armor, we're running 1 piece of Douglas and Harding so we get that 20% pistol damage bonus. And I'm also running with the talent Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, it amplifies your weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. This happens to be the best Douglas and Harding chest piece that I have that I could roll Intimidate on, and with this, once again, I'm adding that protection to elites because it really does help out. Moving on to the holster, the knee pads, and the gloves, they are the 3 remaining pieces of the Foundry set. For the holster, I've added crit hit chance, for the knee pads, I've added crit hit damage, and for the gloves, I've maxed out my weapon damage. And once again, depending on the type of gear that you have, you may want to run it a little bit differently. You want to swap out some, armor for weapon damage or vice versa. Again, my friends, really try this out and make the build your own. Finally, moving on to the backpack, as I mentioned before, we're using the Memento. In my opinion, it is still one of the most effective pieces of gear in the game. Now, if you happen to not have it, I want to go over a few other options real quick. Now, when it comes to an optional backpack, this is where you look at your build and decide, do you need more armor, do you need more weapon damage, and regardless of which one you pick, I recommend running with the talent either Bloodsucker or Adrenaline Rush. The reason for that is both of those talents are going to give you bonus armor, and those directly coincide with the talent on your chest piece, which is going to give you that weapon damage bonus. In regards to the actual skills themselves, as I mentioned before, I'm running with the Bulwark Shield, and what's extremely effective is the fact that with this shield, the skill tier increases with both armor and skill core attributes. And what that means is because I have 4 armor attributes, I have 1 skill attribute, but I'm also running with the Technician Specialization. That will put me at skill tier 6, which is the max you can have. With that skill tier, you're going to have 120% active shield regeneration, you're going to have 400% shield health, and you'll also have 40% holstered regeneration as well. For my secondary skill, I'm running with an Artificer Hive, so I get that extra skill efficiency. However, I know gamers that run with the Firefly or the Assault Drone, so once again, this is one of those things. Try a few different variations out and see which one works best for you. And as I start to wrap this video up, I want to mention a few things real quick. First of all, if you've gotten either the chest piece or the backpack from the raid, because they are raid exclusives, you're going to have more options in regards to this build. The other thing I want to mention is the fact that, in my opinion, right now this game has so many different builds you can use for legendary content. I mean, I have a version with the Scorpio shotgun and the Striker shield. I mean, there are so many different things you can do, and I promise I will bring you different variations as well. Most of you know by now that one of my main goals in creating this channel was to create a community where people work together. So if you have any tips or tricks for new players or players just returning, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. With that being said, my friends, I'm going to let this video play out. However, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your continued support. The way you've brought me into the Division 2 community has been amazing, and I cannot wait to see what the future of this game holds. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. If you like this, you can hit that like button as well. But most importantly, as always, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Incinerator turret detected.